Oh, nice.
And so we watched True Detective all day.
Oh, there you
Nice.
go. Oh, there you go.
So how's everyone doing?
Not
Me
throwing
and-
up in the front yard.
Me and Al have
Right.
already talked, so I'll let you guys chatter for a bit.
I'm good.
Well, let me throw this out there. We're sitting to have dinner the other day, and my daughter says, "You know that dragon guy or whatever that follows you on Twitter?" I'm like, "Yeah, Dragon Fisters? Yeah, he's following me now." Like, really? Yeah. I was like, "Oh, okay, whatever." I said, Jesse didn't say anything. I said, those are the guys that I play with on Thursday. She's like, "Oh, okay." So I go and check her Twitter page. Gabby's following her. You're following her. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay.
You guys are creepy.
Well, no, so
Seriously.
I honestly didn't even realize it until a little while after, because I pretty much auto follow everybody that follows us. Like
Okay.
every day on the Twitter feed on Twitter, I log in the morning, and if there's anybody new that followed us, I make sure that it's not just like an advertising company or something like that.
Yeah.
and then,
Yeah.
and then I click and I follow them. It wasn't until like a few days later when she retweeted something that you had said like a while ago,
Oh,
and
okay.
I'm like, wait a minute, Emily? Oh, John's son. All right, I mean daughter. Like, oh, all right, I get it.
So she didn't tell me that she was following you guys. I
Nice.
just thought it was some weird out of the blue thing like, oh, Aremza, this must be John's kid. I'll follow.
Nice. No, it's not like I went creeping through your Twitter. I'm like,
Yeah, we do.
I was like, oh, well, whatever.
Oh, shit.
what?
I totally just hit the wrong button and hang glided off this mountain. So now I'm going to have to freaking climb all the way back up the top.
Oh, fun.
I only have like 3 hours to do it.
Oh, so John, you're probably out of the loop.
Always.
But we, or at least me, Bessie, and Dave have been playing Arcage. Arcage?
I like Arcage.
Arcade? It sounds better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a new MMO that just came out a couple of weeks ago.
Uh-oh.
So
Have you
It's
gotten
free to
any
play
work
at
done?
least.
I've gotten, luckily it has been insanely slow at work this last week, so it's sad, but I have my work laptop next to me on the couch because it's taking side saddle to playing the game. So I have my work laptop next to me, and then I have my laptop in front of me running the game, and I'm pretty
Nice.
much playing all day. It's sad. It is really sad.
Guy I work with, he's playing that new shooter, Descent or something. whatever they're
Destiny?
showing commercials.
Destiny.
Destiny, yeah.
Yeah.
He's been playing that. He's like, you got to get a PlayStation and you got to join her. I'm like, I'm not doing any of that.
Right? You need to spend $600.
Yeah.
No.
It's like, no. All the gaming I do is tabletop gaming. That's good.
No, I've actually heard not great things about that game.
Oh, no?
Yeah, like it's really good if you enjoy online playing.
hmm
Like if you like match battles and all that kind of stuff, then it's cool. But it has a really short, really bad for a single player game. Like this really crappy story and doesn't really last that long. So
Oh, okay. Well, he didn't tell me any of that.
yeah, no, I mean from what I've heard, it's an awesome online shooter. So I guess that's what most people use it for anyway.
Yeah, he's been playing like he saw, I get home from work and I'm thinking, oh, I worked all day, so I'm just gonna play for a while. And like the weekend, he's like, well, I worked all week, so I'm just gonna play for a little while. Like, I have so much stuff to do around my house, I just can't get anything done. Yeah, I guess not.
Right. Well, there was that 32 hours that you played Destiny this week. Maybe you
Yeah,
could
more
have.
than that.
Oh,
But he's lucky his wife plays, so they have 2 PlayStations and they're both playing at the same
kidding?
time.
Jesus.
So I said, well, that's a good thing, I guess.
Well, at least they're playing the same game.
Mm-hmm. I guess if she's better than him, it might be bad, but I don't know.
There's a podcast I listen to, Massively Speaking, and they were talking about couples playing video games and stuff, and how if one member of the couple only plays, then it's really hard because when do you get your playtime in, and you still want to spend time with the other person, and you can't be part of a raid guild or anything on an MMO because when are you gonna play?
Right.
And this one of the hosts though knew a couple that they both love playing MMOs, but they both played separate games.
Oh, jeez.
So they'd come home, have dinner, and then sit down on their computers next to each other, but then not talk the whole night because they're both playing separate games. Like, the fuck? Like,
Well, that's kind of cool, though. Then neither one of them complain that the other one's not paying attention because they're both playing. So that's
a really good
not too
point.
bad.
That is an excellent point.
Well, theoretically, anyway. I mean, we know how that goes.
Right.
Sorry for all the dice noises. I didn't take these out earlier.
Hey, Dave's here.
How's it going?
Hey, Dave.
Fuck.
Ah, fuck off.
Oh, hey, Dave. What's going on?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm glad I remembered the shortcut of Alt-Enter to turn ArcAge into a windowed game.
You can do that in the settings.
Yeah, whatever. I like the shortcut better.
Fair enough.
I did not know that there was a shortcut.
Yeah, if you hit Alt-Enter, it turns anything windowed.
Nice.
So it's covered up by like a dice roller and my notepad to take notes in.
As long as you can occasionally swap over and shake your character back and forth to stay away.
That's
There
pretty much what I'm doing. Because he's just chilling on a mountain.
you go.
Yep. I actually found a better way to get back to where I was. I climbed up to a higher mountain and then glided down to him.
Yep. There you go. No, I ran into an issue earlier today when I was trying to take a screenshot. And on my laptop, I have all the function keys up top that take up the F1 through 12. So all those are dual purpose. And to kill the UI is F12, right? The function for my F12 button though is to turn my Wi-Fi on and off.
Oh.
So I forgot that I have to hit the primary function of the F keys is the function of it. So like if I don't hold down the function button and I hit F12, it turns the Wi-Fi on and off. I actually have to hold down function and then hit F12.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I went to take a screenshot and I hit F12 and I turned my Wi-Fi off. And that quick drop in signal, me going, oh shit, and hitting it a second time was enough to disconnect. And
Wait, this is in ArcAge, right?
yeah,
Why weren't you just hitting F9?
because I wanted to kill my UI.
F12.
That's what I was doing.
Oh, okay.
Well, you were trying to.
Well, yeah.
That's what I was attempting to do. I did that 3 times today. I got a very lovely picture though of me standing on top of a mountain looking out, and I can actually see the ocean from where I'm standing.
Wow.
Yeah. I am on the tallest peak of the area. And luckily, nobody stole my cotton. I did get worried though after I harvested all my yew trees. I went over to where I had planted my cotton, and there was somebody sitting in the middle of the cotton patch, and I'm like, hello. They were like, you have a very lovely group of cotton here. And I was like, thanks. And they were like, all right, and don't worry, I'm not going to pick it. And then they went over and they had like a small little apple patch going on, like probably about 3 or 4 yards away from my cotton. I was
Nice.
like, thank God. So everybody's been doing good the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
Yep.
More or less.
Hey. Hey Dave, how do you liking working security again?
To be honest, it's like only about 5% security.
Oh really?
It's primarily us watching out, like, over the other departments, making sure they're doing their jobs, and just making sure that, like, no customers die.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's basically like a combination of safety and ops.
There you go. Do you actually have to walk the floor, or are you all camera?
We can walk the floor if we want to.
Mm-hmm.
We're not required to, though.
Wow.
So it's basically like if it's a slow day and we've done like all the audits and the paperwork we need to, we have the option to get up and walk around if we want to, but it's not a priority.
Oh. Basically, they don't. I'm guessing they probably don't want that overbearing security presence. Then.
Basically, from what my supervisor actually told me earlier last year, they used to walk around. But the exact phrase that that used on them was for them to stop policing so much.
Wow.
So they took that as, fuck it, we're just going to sit here until you guys need us.
Right.
So.
Oh. Well, it sounds like you got something pretty cushy going. Too bad you can't bring like a laptop with you or something.
Yeah, no, nothing like that. Are we waiting on Al?
No.
No, he's here.
Yeah, where is that asshole?
Seriously.
I'm just reading over my notes real quick, that's all.
Yeah, you'll have to forgive me if I'm a little frazzled this evening.
Yeah.
I have yet to transfer all my files over from the old computer, so I'm working with Obsidian Portal right now, and
That's
I'm
fine.
not entirely used to it.
That's what I roll with anyway, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's all the same stuff, it's just in a different format, so...
Indeed. Oh, do you actually have like everything down in a PDF?
Oh yeah, I have the, that programmable one where you can, like, input all the stuff and print them out.
Oh, look at you.
Yep. Ever since we found those ones, it's all I love rolling with those things because my handwriting sucks.
I don't know, I still, despite all the digitalness that I have when I'm a DM,
hmm
I cannot move away from a handwritten character sheet. I don't know why.
I suppose there's a feel to it.
There is. And just find it so much quicker too.
Yeah.
Like I could never imagine playing my Inquisitor on my tablet
Oh God.
because I need like at all times 3 pieces of paper in front of me. So like I have his character sheet, then I have his spell list, and then I have a breakdown because I'm anal retentive. I have a breakdown of what spells to use in certain situations, what judgments to use, what like I have, so I can do like a quick glance at the situation and be like, okay, this is here, I have this much health. I can use one of these 3 spells instead of it having to be like, all right, oh, I have 15 spells to choose from. Let's see which one I'm going to use this time.
Nice.
and I have cast exactly 2 spells with him in Gabby's campaign.
One of which was on me.
Exactly.
I think
I cast-
one on me.
No, I haven't cast. Well, that's an Inquisitor ability. I didn't actually. No, I cast when we first went to that second island. We the ghosts came out from the doorway,
Mm.
so I cast Guardian Blades. And
Oh yeah.
that is the only offensive spell that I have cast the entire game, in like what 5 sessions.
I think I don't even know how many spells I cast. Not many.
You guys cast a lot more than me. You actually had a battle.
Well,
that
I
refused
used
to participate in.
I used more abilities than anything.
Yeah, good point.
Fucking grow.
No.
No, they added a new server.
You're a new server.
I wish it was a new server.
All right. Who remembers what we did last time?
We've got to the town and
Did.
found out which direction the docks were in.
Yes.
Yeah, we
So
fought
yeah,
some
that's right. So
treants.
you guys entered the swamp, fought a couple of treants, made it out of the swamp, made it into the city by first pissing off a few guards. That was really smart.
That was Dorian, by the way.
Yep. And Marmalek, don't leave him out.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything. What?
And then you guys managed to, after several hours, navigate your way through this congested, maze-like city.
You're welcome.
Yep, by Galen smelling out the saltiness of the sailors, basically. And you guys made it to the docks, and what was the name of the tavern that you made it to? The Broken Mast, I believe.
Yep. That was it.
And so I believe Galen and Marmalek decided to go in, while
And Leo and Dorian were actually heading off to the docks.
That's right. Very nice. Okay, so we everybody ready?
Yep.
I believe so.
Is Al dead? Al's dead.
Al died from bacon overdose.
He
Too
did.
much bacon is bad.
You
So my
take
doctor
that
told me.
back.
I watched my neighbor one day. He went to a buffet and he ate probably about 1.5 pounds of bacon.
Ooh.
And when they got home, I went over to their house to say hello because I hadn't seen them in a while. And he was sitting in his dining room vomiting bacon into a bucket.
Oh, jeez.
Wait, after only 1.5 pounds?
This kid, he's a big
What
kid.
a lightweight.
Well
I'm a
played.
little dude. I could eat 1.5 pounds easy.
Well, I don't know. That's just what I saw come back up. He could have digested more.
Oh, okay.
That is a lot of bacon.
I go to a buffet and eat like none of the bacon because it's greasy as shit. And I like baked bacon, but that's beside the point. That shit's delicious.
I'm weird. I cook my bacon and then I'll in like large quantities, and then I'll freeze it and I'll take it out and I'll just heat it in the pan whenever I need it. So it's bacon on demand.
Wow.
I do that with waffles.
How can you
Okay.
do that with waffles?
I freeze them. I make a whole bunch and I freeze them in baggies. And then when I want a waffle, I just take it out and I throw it in the toaster.
See,
I
I
basically make
buy,
my own Eggos. It's
I
awesome.
buy a box of them, and those are my waffles.
Yeah, I was gonna say, aren't they already frozen?
Right.
You just pop them in the toaster.
Yeah.
Exactly.
My way is cheaper, and I can make different flavors.
That's true.
I can
Like
buy
I had
different
vanilla.
flavors.
I had vanilla ones.
I can't make vanilla. Well, I can't buy vanilla. I could make vanilla, but I can't. I can't use I can't use a waffle iron. I tried. Just it wasn't good.
It takes a certain finesse.
I don't have finesse. I am not a finesse cooker.
Je ne sais quoi.
I'm not. No, I don't do finesse. That's why I do pancakes. Pancakes take no finesse.
What kind of pancakes?
He's setting up.
I'm not answering that.
You bastard.
Are they a particular yellow fruit?
Hey. What?
What?
Banana.
Lemon?
I think Jesse and I were on the same page, but Bessie, not so much.
I will never intentionally remind Caboose of bacon pancakes. Okay.
Why didn't that click in my head?
It really didn't?
No, I don't know why.
John asked what kind of pancake. I knew where he was going with this.
No, see, you want to know what's funny is I remembered that, but then as soon as you actually said it, it dropped from my brain.
You forgot that you remembered?
I did.
That's amazing.
Wait, no. Why did you say banana?
He said yellow fruit. I assumed he meant banana.
They're not banana. It's bacon.
No, I know. I said that I didn't want to remind you of bacon pancakes.
Oh, but then why'd you say yellow fruit?
To throw your brain off, so you wouldn't think of bacon pancakes. Start thinking
You were
salt.
successful. You were successful. Bravo.
I'm impressively successful.
That was good.
It's sunset.
Here you go, John, just in case you've never seen it.
No, don't click it. Don't
Click
do
it.
it.
Go
Don't
ahead.
do it.
Click it.
Don't do it.
It's the catchiest thing ever.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Budweiser commercial.
Nice. It looks like he's got a dick hanging off his nose, though.
Alright, I just watched the clip that Dave posted, the DBZ abridged.
Yes.
That's amazing. It
Right.
makes me want to watch more Dragon DBZ abridged.
Dude, like, honestly, they're
And then the
awesome.
original.
No, oh no, I know. Trust me. I've seen my arm doesn't bend that way.
Actually, Boost, have you been watching the Sword Art Online abridged?
No. How can they abridge it? It was only like 12 episodes.
Honestly, they do a pretty awesome job of it.
Really?
The girl Nicole, who actually listens to us from Canada, did the voice of the little one who dies in episode 3.
Oh, nice.
Honestly, dude, like, you have to watch it. It's friggin' hysterical.
I shall look it up later.
You shall.
I shall. Did I tell you that the guy that I made a truce with today, while we were watching over our tree farms, was from the Laughing Coffin Guild.
That's awesome. Yeah, there are a lot of people in Laughing Coffin, actually.
I wanted to ask if I could join. I got a couple of friends. But yeah. All right. So yeah, let's do this. So you guys. So yeah, at this point in time, we have Leo and Dorian going towards the docks to check out that situation. And we have Marmalek and Galen heading into the Broken Mast Tavern. So we will go ahead and start with the tavern. How's that? So the two of you walk in, and like I said, the outside of the building was papered with various flyers. Of a lot of them were looking for help, looking for shipmen, things like that. Some of them were people asking for things to be delivered. to be shipped. And there was also a smattering of, lost people. My husband went off to sea a month ago, never returned, that kind of thing. And there's also a small smattering of wanted posters. This guy stole my money, or he made off with this shipment. If found, bring dead body, that kind of stuff. And the tavern itself is basically an upside-down ship that has been pretty much like broken and kind of pieced back together, but it still holds its same general shape. And you see that there's kind of a mast that's been shoved through the bottom of it upside down, so that it actually kind of looks like the mast just slammed through the bottom of the ship itself. And when you guys enter, this place is very noisy. There's that kind of classic tinny piano-ish harpsichord music kind of in the background a little bit. There's a bunch of people here, tons of sailors, just drinking and eating and having kind of a ruckus time, a lot of gambling going on. And when you look around, you see tons of different people. You see several different races of humanoid. You also see people that look more prone to the sea or water, so you actually see like semi-merfolk type people. You see some that look like frogs, some that look like various animals. You see cats and some goat-like races. You see that there are people with horns and people with scales and tails and sharp claws, and there are other people that look kind of on the wrong side of life at this point, but they're up and walking around and sentient, so they're not zombies or anything. They could also just be really old and really sea-worn. No real way to tell. You also see, some slightly insectish people, kind of buggy eyes and things like that. You see the occasional human, but they are in the vast minority at this point. You see some orcs, some hobgoblins, goblins. You also see halflings, a couple of gnomes, just a various assortment of every kind that your mind could possibly fashion here.
All right. So when we get in, we take all that stuff in. You kind of, walk through the door and take a couple steps, and Galen just sort of stops and he's looking around, and you can almost see him visibly relax, like he's kind of in his element now. And he's just kind of looking, and then kind of unconsciously picks up the music a little bit. He starts tapping his foot. He starts twitching his fingers, and then he's like, no fiddle. He's damn. So he's kind of looking around. He sees the gnomes and the halflings, and he elbows Marm, which comes close to hitting him right in the balls because he's kind of down around that level. And he goes, "Look, those are some of my people over there. Maybe we could get some information out of them. They might be friendlier than the people we've encountered so far."
Marv's going to look around as they both stop and kind of take it in. After he gets elbowed, he looks down and he goes, "All right, we can ask them for help, but first things first, to the bar."
Oh, definitely. What was I thinking? Yeah, they'll be here all night.
All right.
If I know gnomes.
I think you do.
He'll practically skip to the bar.
All right, so you walk up, and when you walk up to the bar, it's actually this guy who has this very slightly leathery, blackish red skin, and he has this very kind of round, bulbous head and kind of this thick upper body, and he's wiping down the bar with 2 rags, one in each hand, while in his other pair of arms, he's actually wiping out a mug.
Can I make a nature check? Is this something I'd be familiar with at all?
No, this is definitely something that has never come into any aspect that you've seen before.
All right. So as he kind of runs towards the bar, he kind of pulls up short as he sees all these arms kind of flailing around, and he's like, "Whoa." He goes, "Hey, that's pretty useful. You know, I mean, you could, you know, you got the bar and the mugs. I mean, you can get twice as much work done as everybody else I know."
Yeah, comes in handy. Can I get you?
Bottle your best stuff for me and my friend here.
And so he kind of puts one of the rags down and turns around and grabs 2 glasses, puts them down, grabs a bottle, puts it, and uncorks it, throws a couple of glasses out. Says, it's 4 silver.
Sure thing. And he reaches down and he reaches into the pouch, and then his face just kind of drops. You see like the blood drain out of his face. He's like, I appear to be a little light at the moment.
And you appear to be pretty sober.
I've been sober for far too long. What about, maybe I could work it off. I play you a tune? You have a fiddle?
So he looks around and he's like, unless you're planning on putting Harvey out of a job.
I don't want to take Harvey's job. I just want to pay for that bottle. Give me how about you know, we'll bring Harvey over. We'll explain the situation. You give me the bottle. I'll take the fiddle, and you got me for half an hour.
And so he kind of looks around a little bit.
Diplomacy check?
Kind of looks. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I don't know if this is going to hurt or help. I rolled a 17 plus 9, 26.
Ooh, holy crap. So he looks around and he kind of sees that the place is, you know, slightly raucous right now. And so he goes, you know what? Go ahead over. See what Harvey's got. Maybe you can help him out. If you play good enough, we'll see what we can do.
Do I get to take the bottle?
After.
All right. Marm, I got to take care of business. Don't go anywhere. It won't take too long.
Oh, all right. I'll stay here and talk to this gentleman.
And keep an eye on that bottle. We don't want to lose that. And he will make his way towards Harvey.
All right. So Harvey's sitting there, and he's kind of this slightly grasshopperish looking guy, banging away at this really, rackety upright piano. And so, when you come over and you explain the situation, he kind of reaches down to the side and pulls out this really kind of worn, almost blackish wood violin. And the thing looks kind of beaten up. But you give it a couple of plucks, give it a little bit of a tune, and it seems to work decently enough for your situation.
All right, he plucks it and stuff. He flips it over. He kind of rubs the wood a little bit. It's been a long time since he's had a fiddle in his hand. He cracks his knuckles and he cracks his neck, and he says to Harvey, whatever would be like a common tune, give me a B flat or whatever, and he'll start to play like a real raucous, like a jig or a reel or something, kind of get people up, moving around, stomping his foot and kind of bouncing around a little bit.
Nice. Let's see. Do you have any points in perform or anything?
I do indeed.
Hey, there we go. Why don't you go ahead and give me a quick check on that then?
All right. Ooh, that's roll the 4 plus, what do we got here, 7, 11?
Hey, still not bad. So you're a little rusty. Like you said, you haven't really played in a while. But it's kind of like riding a bike. Like it starts off kind of weak, and you're just, you hit a couple of wrong notes here and there, and you kind of miss the key change that Harvey's throwing down for you. But eventually you start to get the progression that he's going with, and it starts to flow a little bit better.
All right.
All right. So real quick, while Galen is plucking away on his fiddle, let's go ahead and see what Marmalek is going to do.
All right. So as Galen walks away, Marm's going to lean over and look at the gentleman behind the bar. Does he have any idea of what this gentleman is, or what his race is, or anything?
Go ahead and give me a planar knowledge check.
Okay. 33.
33. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So he looks to be some type of demon, though it's hard to put your finger on it because it doesn't look like his natural form. He's been altered in some way. You don't know what it could have been, some type of curse put on him, or something towards that effect. But he has been the form of him, the bulbousness, the roundness of him, doesn't fit anything that you have read in books. But he is definitely of some type of demon blood.
Okay. So Marm's going to lean over the counter a little bit, not so much hovering over the bottle, but hovering next to it near the glasses, and kind of fiddle with one of them and be like, "So, brother, let me ask you a question. Do you like riddles? Do you like brain teasers? I will bet you 2 drinks that can stump you with my first riddle."
Yeah, that's not really my cup of tea. I mean, I'm mostly I do the ball thing.
Okay.
I didn't really pass the exams back in the education days, if you know what I mean.
All right. Well, what if I teach you a couple then, so that if it ever comes up, we'll be able to throw these out and completely baffle people, and they won't know what to think, and then you can win those arguments.
Why don't you go ahead and give me a diplomacy check?
All right. 18.
Oh, Jesus. So he kind of looks at you a little cock-headed, and then starts nodding his head a little bit. He's like, be mighty nice if I could break some of these, name calling, everybody kind of making fun of me for not being all smart and junk. So yeah, why not?
All right. So how about this? It'll be 1 drink for 1 riddle. I'll give you 2 riddles. Does that work?
How about 1 drink for 2 riddles?
How about 2 drinks for 1 riddle?
No, you almost got that was no.
All right. How about, okay, so 1 for 1, and I'll give you 2.
All right.
All right. Cool. All right. Now, here's the first one. Remember this. What asks but never answers?
Oh, my third wife.
Well, that's pretty accurate, I assume, though I've never been married, so I don't really have anything to base my opinion on. But the correct answer is an owl. Who? Who? See? Yeah, you use that one. You
Um,
confuse people.
I'm good.
Do you know what an owl is?
And they one of them bird things.
Yeah, they're one of the bird things. They say who. Everyone else will get it, don't worry.
I get it. Oh, that's good.
All right. So then for riddle number 2, it is how far can you run into the woods?
How far can you run into the woods? Well, I mean, I might be a little out of shape, but I can run kind of far. Maybe mile and a half.
Now, it doesn't matter how big the woods are. The answer is halfway, because if you go any further, you'd be running out of the woods.
Oh, you're a smart one. It's not bad.
All right, so I'm going to pour 1 drink for each of the riddles, and I'm going to bring one to my buddy over there. Is that all right with you?
Nah, you deserve that one. Good on you.
Well, what was your name?
Oh, my name is Mercurial.
Mercurial. All right, good to meet you, Mercurial. I'm Marm, and my buddy over there is Galen. If you have any other questions, you want any other riddles, just let me know.
All right, keep that in mind.
All right, so I'm going to pour 2 drinks and then walk over and try to hand one to Galen.
All right. And you actually hear that he kind of, as you pour the drinks out and you start to go, you hear him go over to one of the guys on the other end of the bar, and he walks up and he's like, "Hey, why does an owl never ask questions?" He's like, he's already.
Awesome. All right, so Marm sneaks up on Galen while he's tuning up his instrument.
Well, we'll say he's already a little bit into starting up the playing.
Well, then, as he's playing, he's going to walk up with the drinks behind his back, and as he gets there, he's just going to slowly push one into the front of his just reach out basically and hold it in front of Galen and kind of wave it back and forth, wafting it. I go, huh?
And his eyes get real big, and then he gets like a real angry look, and he's like, I'm like, and he's jumping around. He's like, I'm playing goddamn fiddle. It's like, come behind me, and I'll just put my head back. And he's still trying to play, and he kind of tilts his head back. He's like, just pour.
And Marm looks at him with the first glass in his hand and just downs it in one go, and looks at him and smirks, and kind of waves the other one. Do you want it? Do you really want it?
When he takes the first drink, you just hear like totally misses the note, like huge screech. He's like, come on.
All right, and he walks over and he, as he's playing, and he leans his head back, he pours the drink down his gullet.
Oh, that is fantastic. And then he looks back at him real quick. He's like, "But you left the bottle. Did you bring the bottle?"
It'll be there. Don't worry.
And he kind of spins away from you and starts stomping his foot again. And, tries to change into another tune.
And at that, Marm will go back to the bar and just kind of sit near the bottle.
All right. So you guys are there for probably about, let's say, maybe 15 minutes or so, going along before Marm's kind of just sitting at the bar, probably going over the book that you had before, just trying to pick up any little details that you might have missed. And Galen is just totally, you're in the groove now. You're really starting to get it. Everything's coming back to you. You're barely even thinking about the key changes now. It's kind of grooving along. And so you don't notice for a few moments that the entire bar hushes down at a point. Even the piano almost kind of stops playing, and you hear just like barely hushed whispers and murmurs between the people. There's no more of that ruckus laughter and arguments. So now pretty much the only noise in the entire bar is the occasional whisper and then Galen on his fiddle.
And he has no idea. He's like you said, he's just in the zone. He jumps up on one of the tables by the front. He kicks over one guy's glass. Yeah,
Nice.
he has no idea. He's rocking out.
Right. How about Marmalek?
Marm's going to be pretty deep into the book. I mean, planar travel and rituals are pretty interesting to him. But I'd still like to do a perception check because he was waiting for Galen to come back so we could give him a drink.
Sure, why not?
Right. 21 rather.
Nice. All right. Yeah. So you'll be listening along and kind of waiting for the music to stop as the sign that Galen's like actually done and ready to do some stuff. And so you're listening and you still hear Galen playing and your toes kind of tapping a little bit, though probably off rhythm because you don't really listen to music at all. The only music that you've probably heard is Galen playing his fiddle. And so one of your ears kind of twitches, though, a little bit when you realize that there's really no other sound going on except for, like I said, there's, the occasional, whisper and cough sound. And you look over and you see the bartender, and he's kind of got his head down, just like wiping the bar, but like wiping the same spot over and over and over again.
Is there a mirror in the back of the bar at all?
Yeah, sure, why not?
All right, so I'm gonna kind of over my glass, which I've still been kind of nursing the remnants of, like the little tatters of the drink. I'm just gonna kind of hold it up and look past it through the mirror.
All right. So you look up into the mirror and you see that walking in to the bar and kind of standing right at the entrance now is three. There are three people. One of them is very large. He stands probably easily 6'8", 6'9". Somewhat slender, but very tall and very bulky, very large man. You see another one that's probably about 5'6", 5'7", extremely slender, and has this long white hair that comes out from the cloak that he's wearing. And you see another that stands probably a little bit in between the two. And is a little bit more on the lean side, and his only kind of distinguishing feature is that he has this crossbow that is strapped to his back. But other than that, all three of them are clad in these very thick black hooded cloaks that kind of billow out slightly, and they're lined with this fairly ornate silver, and all three of them wear these deep black masks that kind of come to a point right around the nose, almost resembling a bird slightly. And they all have these silver clasps holding their cloaks together that are basically very ornate versions of the Raven Queen symbol.
Oh, okay. So Marm will kind of stand up and walk over to where Galen is, playing his heart out, and lean down and grab him by the shoulder, tightly but not too painfully. Like we might have a new mission or possibly some allies. Let's find out.
He doesn't even acknowledge it yet. he's coming up right to the end of this performance here, so he doesn't. He's vaguely aware that you're there, but not really.
Marv's gonna stand there and stare at him.
Yeah.
And just look. Like,
While Galen might not recognize what's going on right now, and he might not realize Marmalek on his shoulder, or these three people that have just entered the room, they most definitely notice you. And everybody else kind of begins to clear away from them slightly. You see people stepping aside. You see others, sliding their chairs over as they begin to walk towards the three of you. And you can't see their eyes, but they are, their heads they're focused directly on the two of you as they begin to walk over.
And as they get a little closer, he comes to the final crescendo, the last couple of notes, and he throws his arms up, and he's just kind of standing there, and then he realizes it's really quiet, and he puts his arms down, and he kind of looks around like, what the fuck?
And Marm grabs his head and just turns him towards the people who are walking in towards us.
And he looks and he gets kind of confused, he doesn't know what's going on right now. He figures he's going to get applause, there's going to be booze for the rest of the night. He's like, oh, who are they? Are they paying for the booze?
Marm leans down and goes, they have the symbol of the Raven Queen, so they might have something for us, or...
Well, but I thought we were going back. Are they going to help us back? We're not. I mean, are we supposed to help them do stuff? I thought she was sending us back to, where we belong.
I don't know.
And at that point, one of the two taller guys drop back slightly. So they stop probably about 6 or 7 feet away from you, and the smaller, slender one begins to walk towards you, and he walks till he's probably about 3 feet away, and at that point he drops the cloak, the hood of the cloak, and takes the mask off, and revealing his face. And he has a very chiseled features, very strong jaw, a very kind of, gray eyes. And he has somewhat light skin. And the one real thing that kind of catches you is that he has these very piercing blue eyes and these kind of long, pointed ears. And he kind of looks at the two of you, just kind of staring you down slightly. And then finally he looks over and he says, "We were informed by the local guard that a few members of the Raven Queen's church had given them problems when coming into town. We were not aware of any new orders to come to Gloomrot, and we're very interested to see whom these new representatives were."
So Galen realizes shit's starting to get real now. And he, kind of looks up at Marm, and he looks down at the fiddle, and he turns around and he hands the fiddle back to Harvey, and he goes, we spoke with the Raven Queen just a few days ago now. I guess it's kind of hard to reckon time here. It's kind of weird. But she kind of outfitted us here a little bit, and we accepted her leadership, if you will, and she pointed us to Gloomrot, as a way for us to make it back to our, where we came from, which isn't here. And we just got here, and we're just trying to fit in until we can get our bearings and then get out of here. Diplomacy?
Yeah, sure.
Another 17 plus 9, 26.
Wow, holy crap.
These dice are only good for one roll at a time.
So yeah, he kind of stares at you for a moment and processes what you've said. It would be nice if, in the future, if you were to come here, that you come to the temple and tell us that we are to have new arrivals of the Raven Queen. This place is not necessarily meant to be wandered about by her representatives.
We did kind of get the hairy eyeball when we got here, which I thought was kind of weird, because she told us to come here, but, that guy at the gate was kind of a dick. I mean, it wasn't all our fault. I mean, it really wasn't my fault at all. But the other guy. But we'll let him know that that's what happened, and we won't let it happen again. We're like I said, we just we're just trying to feel our way through this. Like this is all uncharted territory for us.
We took care of it. I did not want to put a bad mark on the name of the Raven Queen for the Watch, especially as our relationship with them is as tenuous as it is already. I did not need the actions of some new, immature recruits putting a black mark on our name.
His back stiffens a little bit when he says immature, and he says, well, like I said, nobody told us that was the case, and we dealt with them as they dealt with us, which was to say not very nicely.
Yes, they are not of the highest breed, and you shall take what they say with a grain of salt. They are the power. They are the muscle in Gloomrot. However, they do not hold much sway when it comes to the rest of the people, and they oftentimes despise the true power that we have with the word of the Queen.
Yes.
Well, go ahead, Marm.
No, the true power. We all know of the true power. We have two other companions with us, but if you have some time, I would love to discuss the word and the power a little bit more in depth later. Galen?
Well, I was just going to say that, since they took care of the guards, perhaps they would also be willing to take care of the tab as well. And he grins a real big grin.
We do not imbibe in such lowbrow entertainment as this.
Well, I won't hold it against you.
And he kind of gives you a glance out of the corner of his eye. If you would, please at some point come to the temple and register. We will need to know when you are in the city so that we can prepare for your arrival and your being here.
Oh, but we're already here. We already arrived. Do you mean we can stay with you guys? I mean, I don't want to put you out or assume that, we can stay, but I mean, we don't really have a place to stay, and she didn't give us any money, as I was loath to find out as we tried to purchase our refreshment when we got here.
And he kind of lets what you say, the babble wash over him a little bit. Says, if you come to the temple and prove that you are of the Raven Queen by showing the mark, then yes, you will be provided with room and board and foods for your foreseeable stay.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. Marm, what do you think?
Well, I don't see any glaring flaws in that, so we should go find the other two and get on that.
After we get that bottle.
Ah, yes. I'll be right back.
I held up my part.
So Marm walks back to the bar to grab the bottle.
All right, so without even kind of acknowledging you anymore, the gentleman kind of turns with a flourish of his cloak, almost kind of billowing it out to his side as he turns and says, enough. Let's leave them to their debaucherous revelry and continue along our ways. I have had enough. And the other two nod and turn as well, though in not as much of a showy fashion, and follow him out of the bar.
And then I leaned into Marm and I said, well, it sounds like we can stay then.
Yeah, we can stay a little bit. I mean, let's hope that this place doesn't, instill that same existential, sadness that gentleman is obviously faring. You know what? Let's just have another drink.
That sounds fantastic. Hey, but, we shouldn't be like him. I mean, we're not planning on staying, so, I mean, he's probably been here for a while, right?
It looked like it, but who knows?
And I'll lean into the bartender and I'll be like, what's the deal with those guys?
And he kind of just looks at you a little bit, and almost kind of just now glancing you out of the corner of your eye, out of his eye, and says, nothing. And he kind of slides the rest of the bottle over, and he's like, I'm sorry. Here. And he slides the bottle over and then kind of goes to take care of a couple other customers as the noise begins to resurge back into the tavern.
He gives Marm a quizzical look like,
This makes me uncomfortable a little bit, Galen.
I thought, she's, like, a good guy, right? I mean...
in the underworld, I mean, as good as you can be here, I guess, but we haven't been here that long. I'm sure there might be worse things here.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we should go find those other two before something else bad happens. I mean, Dorian was acting like a dick.
Always does.
All right, speaking of the other two, let's go ahead and jump over to Leo and Dorian. So you guys have went along your way, and you've left Marmalek and Galen to check out the bar and figure out what kind of information they can find in there. Meanwhile, you two have head over to the docks themselves, which are, basically, just across the way. So what is your ultimate goal? Why are you heading over to the docks right now?
When we spoke to the Raven Queen, she said it might be possible to find a boatman that would take us into, like, the Sea of the Nether or something like that. Mm-hmm. And in doing so, we may be able to cross the plains and return to the material plane.
Okay. All right.
So,
go ahead.
No, I was just basically going to say we need to find ourselves a boatman.
All right, sounds good. So you guys begin to make your way over to the docks, and the main way here is incredibly busy. There are traders that have kind of set up temporary shop, selling their wares. They're coming directly off the boat. There are people, carrying sacks and crates and all this assorted stuffs, both off ships and onto ships. So there's both loading and unloading going on constantly, as well as the dozens of crewmen of all the ships coming on and off. As you look down the main drag here, and you see that there are docks that look like there's no real pattern or forethought as to how or why or when they were built. There are some docks that just kind of run off at a diagonal from the shoreline. There's some that run straight. Sometimes there's, upwards of 80 to 100 feet in between two docks. Other times there's maybe only 20, and it looks like maybe one ship could pull in instead of the two that on either side. All the docks look to be made out of different woods. There are some that look almost brand new, others that looked kind of warped, and they almost have this undulating effect to them, as if their moorings just kind of aren't secured totally. But what you can definitely tell is that this is an extremely busy port, to the extent that every single inch of dock is taken up by ship, and as you look out into the waters, there's probably several dozen ships that look to be in waiting to dock. Ships that are just kind of anchored out there, waiting their turn to come in. You also see several different types of ships. They're anything from kind of small longships that hold maybe a dozen or so people to giant galleons that probably have crews of upwards of 30 to 40 people and can hold a few tons worth the stock. In terms of the crew, it pretty much goes exactly like how I told them in the bar. Although it's kind of, you see a few mixed crews of various, maybe a few ships might have a few different races on them, but for the most part, it looks to be pretty much, you can kind of, if you knew enough about the area, you could tell that this race is from this area and this ship is definitely from there, because all of these guys kind of look like lion people, and all these guys are goblins, and all these guys are hobgoblins, and all these guys look like ants, and all these guys are orcs. So it's all in the ships portray what you believe they would look like too. Some of them are very kind of worn down and old. Some of them are extremely regal with brilliant filigree on the sides of the ship and everything. Yeah. So where are you guys going to head first to check this out?
Well, you said these all seem like kind of like almost racially specific.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any that would be like human?
That is the one thing that's kind of lacking in this area, is that you see a few, sporadic humans here and there, but even then, you're like, he has red eyes. I highly doubt he's human. And you look and you're like, oh, he has spikes coming out of the lower part of his face. I guess he's not actually human. So it looks like there might be people here with human blood, or, some type of ancient descendant of human, but for the most part, there's really no either pure blood humans here, or specifically, these guys are obviously a human ship.
All right.
So that is kind of the one thing that is missing from this scenario.
How about like dwarven or gnomish?
You do see a handful of dwarves. They are kind of mixed in here and there. Again, they don't seem to be the predominant force on any of the ships.
Mm-hmm.
But you do see, you can at least spot a few groups of them that are on a couple of ships.
All right. I'm just going to kind of like turn to Leo a little bit. So, any of these strike your interest?
Do any of the ships have insignias?
Oh yeah, pretty much all.
Well,
Is there anything specific you're looking for? Or?
Yeah, like something that would look like they followed the Raven Queen, like a raven or a black feather on it, like a black wing or anything like that.
Oh no, these definitely are not religiously significant. Most of these are they look like almost like crests, mostly. And no, there doesn't really seem to be anything, religious at all, or in particular, Raven Queenish about any of these.
Are there any crests that I recognize?
No, definitely not.
Okay. I'll turn the door and I'll be like, one's pretty much as good as any. I don't really, see any that would help us any more than any of the others.
True. There are a few dwarves over there. We might try our luck with them.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Don't speak Dwarvish to them.
Well, I don't think all dwarves here are going to be purists, but you know what? You're right. We're going to need help from these people, so it's best to do everything we can not to offend them.
Good. All right. Let's go see the dwarves then.
All right. And start walking over that way then.
All right. So the dwarves that you walk over to are standing in front of this kind of very I don't necessarily want to say kind of animated longship. So they are currently docked and unloading their cargo, and it looks to be a lot of it's foodstuffs. So you see a lot of crates of fruits and in rices and grains and things like that they are currently unloading.
All right. Guess I'll just walk up to the first one I come across.
All right.
Excuse me, Sir Dwarf.
Oh, yeah. What can I do for you?
Well, we were actually interested to see if your ship was looking to set sail anytime soon.
Oh, yeah. And as soon as we unload this stuff, we're going to be heading back off to catch the next shipment.
Where is your destination?
Oh, well, we just came from Elysium, picking up some of the fruits and things like that.
As soon as I hear that, I'm actually going to kind of like take him by the shoulders excitedly. You've been to Elysium?
Oh, yeah.
How are things there? Is Lord Pelor okay?
And his face kind of goes sorrowful slightly, and goes, "Are you from there?"
Yes. it's been some time since I've been there, but I have been part of Pelor's Light for centuries. He sent me off on a mission, and it's been a long time since I've been able to speak with him.
Oh, and it must have been a long time since you've been away then. I'm sorry, but the light of Pelor diminished quite a long time ago.
Wait, what happened? When I left, they were still in the midst of battle.
Oh, yes, it was a mighty battle. The armies of Pelor and the armies of the demon prince Orcus, they collided, and unfortunately, in order to save the rest of his people, Pelor sacrificed himself to Orcus, and they were not able to survive.
And I'm just going to kind of look at him with disbelief. So, what has happened to Elysium?
Oh, well, luckily his Leonos still control the majority of it, so it hasn't fallen to any of the other factions yet.
And I'm just going to kind of like shake my head and say, so you are able to travel between the planes then?
Aye, yes.
Can you travel to the material plane?
I'm sorry, I don't know which one that is.
It is the world of the living. Your people, your dwarves, come from that plane of existence.
Ah, yes, I've heard of there's long stories of, a land that we might have come from once. I think I know what you're talking. Wow. You know what? I just kind of chalked that up to childhood tales. I did not actually think that it existed.
It does, my friend, and we need the help of you and your crew to get there. Are you captain of this crew?
No. I but run the crew of the ship.
May we speak to who is in charge then?
Aye, that would be one of the captains of Marstund, is what you would want to talk to.
Could you take us to him, please?
Hey, you know what? Give me a minute and let me finish whipping the crew into shape and getting this unpacked, and then I'll see if I can what I can do about taking you out.
Thank you, my friend. Forgive my rudeness. My name is Dorian Almax. I am a cleric of the Lost Pelor, and this here is my companion, Leo.
Good to meet you. It's my name's Algor.
A pleasure.
And so he goes back and he kind of starts barking orders at a couple of the people, at all the crewmen taking the crates off the ship. And after that's done, it's probably a handful of minutes afterwards, and he kind of waves you guys back over to him.
And I'll approach.
Alright. Yeah. If you follow me up to the ship, I can take you to the captain, and we can talk to you about maybe seeing what we can do.
Thank you.
And so he leads you up the gangplank up into the ship, and you see that this is very much predominantly for shipping. Nice clean deck with several staircases heading down into the hull of the ship. Easy access for all the cargo and everything. And he kind of begins to walk into the back of the ship towards kind of a doorway in one of the raised areas. And so he says, he turns to you and he's like, you two, wait here and I'll go get the captain, see if he's fitting to actually talk to you right now.
Thank you. And is there like a crate around anywhere?
Yeah, sure, why not?
I'm just gonna kind of like sit back, lean on the crate,
No.
and just like kind of hang my head a little bit.
What about Leo?
Leo's gonna go stand next to him and kind of like pat him on the shoulder. And like the entire time, he's been getting informed that Paylord was defeated, possibly killed in battle. He's trying his best to look somber and sad and all that shit for Dorian's sake, but he's totally fighting back laughter.
Ah!
And, like the whole time he's like patting Dorian on the shoulder. He's kind of got like his other hand like in front of his face, kind of like hiding, like trying desperately to like hide a smile. It's absolutely hilarious.
Wow.
Leo's a dick.
Right?
No, there's more to it, but whatever. That's the outward appearance at the moment.
Right. All right. So when the dwarf goes into the room, closes the door, gives the door a knock, and then you see them walk through, close the door behind him, and he's in there for a few moments. And when the door opens again, he comes out, and he is immediately followed by this very tall person. Stands probably a little bit close to 7 feet tall, to the point where he actually has to duck under the doorway to walk out. And he's wearing very fashionable clothes. This blue jacket with gold buttons and kind of this gold braided rope around the hems and everything. And you see a couple of gold chains hanging from the vest that he has underneath. And he even has like a few piercings over on his ears. And but you can tell that he's, definitely not all fancy schmancy, because along with, even though he's very well dressed, you can see on his face at least he does have a couple of scars from fights that he's been in, possibly even protecting his ship or just being in a bar. It's really hard to tell. But in either case, what you're staring at is not a man. It's basically an upright lion.
Huh.
So he has this very deep gold mane that you actually do see has kind of tinges of gray here and there. And he has this extremely dark brown eyes that are kind of just set in his very thick furrowed brow, and he kind of creases his head slightly and gives you two a very hard look as he walks out. And so he kind of, as he's walking a little bit, stares you down, and it's kind of switching his eyes very slowly between the two of you. So finally he walks up, crosses his arms, kind of stares a little bit. So, what would 2 members of the Raven Queen's army need on my ship?
As I was explaining to Allegor here, my friend and I and 2 others are from the material plane. I was sent on a mission from Pelor, the sun god, to attempt to repair the damage that was done when the planes became separated. Since then, these 3 have joined with the Raven Queen, and being that the Raven Queen and Pelor are allies, they are on a similar mission with me to repair the damage and to bring the wandering spirits of the material plane into her realm so that they may be judged and placed accordingly.
Well, it's kind of hard to be the ally of somebody who's dead.
Oh. Not even the Raven Queen had that knowledge, but she does not travel between the planes. You do. And while it is regrettable that my god is no longer with us, the mission of the Raven Queen still remains.
Yeah, well, the mission of one or the other, or the flightiness of the Queen of Death, none of that concerns me.
Then may I ask what does concern you?
Getting my ship from one port to the next, getting my packages safe, and getting paid.
Then perhaps you're not thinking of this from a business point of view.
I'm pretty sure I am.
Well, how many other ships travel to the material plane?
None.
Would not then it be ideal for you to begin trading in goods that no other ship could provide?
Well, your problem there is that the reason no ships travel to the material plane is because no ships can travel to the material plane. There has been a how do you say this? A block on that world for as long as I've known or my people have known. Nobody has ever traveled there because it is impossible to actually get there.
How long have your people known of this block? How long has it been in place?
My people, my father and grandfather and his father have sailed these seas. My lineage goes back hundreds, if not 1,000 years, that we have been traveling the Astra.
Then answer me one question, if you'd be so kind. How long has the sun god been gone?
Let's see. Maybe, I don't know, I was a child when I first started hearing the stories. Maybe 90, maybe a century.
I'm gonna slowly turn to Leo. Unless time moves differently here, that's impossible. We were only, I was, as Agnem, I was only in the material plane for a few months. And Pelor was still alive when he sent me to the material world.
Well, maybe we were trapped in the ice for longer than we thought.
Maybe. So then, I don't know. That's there's no way to tell unless we can get back to someplace, either to the material plane or maybe we could investigate the astral plane then. The
Or
Elysium.
we could go to Elysium.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry. I'm a little unnerved right now over the news I've been given. I'm going to turn back to the captain. Would you be willing to transport us to Elysium then?
That's all well and good, but my next trip is to Yizgard.
I'm unfamiliar with the place you speak of.
It's one of the outer planes.
how far off from Elysium is Yizgard?
You've never traveled the Astra, have you?
I'm afraid not. I didn't even know it was possible until the Raven Queen made mention of it.
It's not like traveling from one city to the next, or even from one land to the next. That's just not how things go. You have to think of it more as a ball of water.
Okay.
And it's not about going from one place to the next and passing here and there and being able to make stops. You either get there or you get nowhere.
Okay. Do you have any plans soon to travel to Elysium?
We make a stop there once every cycle in time for their fruit harvest.
And Allegor said you just come from Elysium.
He knows the schedule better than anybody.
I know you said cycle. Is that like a year, a month? How long is a cycle?
The fruits of Elysium sprout. Let's see, the flower season comes every, if we're going by the Gloomrock calendar, every 9 months, and so we make a trip there once every approximately 13 months.
That's too long. Do you know of any other ships that may be making way for Elysium?
It's possible. I mean, there are ships that go there every once in a while. Our ship is the predominant one, the majority of my crew being from there. But I'm sure you might be able to find one of these other little junks that go there every once in a while.
Well, as long as it can get us there, that's all I care about. Luxury isn't an issue for me.
That's fancy here and coming from one of the suitors of the Raven Queen.
Oh. No, my soul still belongs to the light. I'm an ally of the Raven Queen, but I am not one of her servants.
Allies, servants, suitors, whatever.
Well then, Captain, I appreciate the time you've spent and the information that you've given us. I wish I had some way to compensate you for that time, but regrettably I would not know how in this world.
And he just kind of gives a nod of his head and letting me get back to my charts would be welcome enough.
Absolutely. Leo, did you have anything you needed to ask about?
I just have one question. Are you certain Pelor is dead?
Yeah, the fields of Elysium have gone just a little bit dimmer ever since his departure.
So shouldn't he be with the Raven Queen? Since she is the goddess of dead?
That's not how the gods work, boy. They're a little bit more than just the flesh and blood that us are made out of.
I'm still figuring this out. Alright, well. Good to go.
Alright.
Looks like we'll find another ship.
Alright, well, good luck with you then.
Thank you, Captain. Give him a little bow and head out.
Alright, kind of little tip of the hat, and then turns back to go about. And so the dwarf will actually escort you down. And so he just kind of says, "I'm really sorry that we couldn't help you out with some of your business here."
have one other question for you.
Aye.
The dwarf god, Morden,
Mm.
does he still exist?
Aye, yes. His hammer still strikes true.
Then perhaps not all is lost. We may be able to find assistance from him. Where would we travel to find him?
Let me see. When was the last time I saw a follower of Morden? I am really just stalling until I can bring up my sheet
Let me
that has all of my information on it.
Google what plane of existence Moradin resides on. The plane of Earth.
I don't know if this will help you, but his dominion is Dwarfhome.
Yeah, I'm actually finding that. Oh, here we go. Okay. So yeah, he actually kind of, gives his beard a couple of rubs a little bit. And he's like, I think I hear something about him in the halls of Celestia, I believe, is the last place I saw one of his temples.
Then perhaps that is where we should travel instead. Thank you once again, Allegor. You've been very, very helpful.
I hope you find your way.
I appreciate it. Out of curiosity, you're not a dwarf purist, are you?
I don't know what you mean.
If you were to hear a race that wasn't dwarf speaking your language, it wouldn't upset you, would it?
Oh, gods, no.
All right. And with that, I'm going to bow to him and say in Dwarven, then the light be with you always. And thank you once again.
And he gets a little bit of a chuckle and he says, Your dialect is a little strange, but very nice. Good job.
I apologize. Thank you. Take care of yourself, and the light be with you and your crew.
All right, and he says back to you in Dwarvish, and you as well.
And with that, I'm going to just laugh a little bit and start to walk back down the docks.
All right.
All right. So we need to find a boat that is heading to, what do you say, the Halls of Celestia?
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right, so pretty much, unless Leo has another plan, my plan is basically just to canvass the dock until we can find a boat that is at least traveling there.
All right. Why don't you go ahead and give me a charisma check?
Not bad, not bad. Where is my character sheet? 16.
All right. And what is Leo going to be doing right now?
Leo is going to be just following Dorian and giving him shit for switching gods so quickly.
Wait, are you? No, this is a conversation I want to have. If you're actually doing this.
Oh yeah, no, it's a conversation that we can totally have because.
All right, go for it. Start it up.
As soon as we get off the ship down onto the docks and we're kind of like looking, you're kind of like looking around like, all right, now we gotta find a ship that's going to Morden. I'd be like, oh, so Morden, huh?
Yes, he is the god of the dwarves and the one god that my friend, the paladin prince Skazradari, followed.
So now that Paylor's gone, you're just gonna jump ship and go follow Morden?
I never said anything about following him. My intention is to go to him to seek out assistance and aid.
Yeah.
I bend no knee to the dwarf god. Despite the fact that Pelor is gone, I am still a believer in his teachings and am a cleric of the light. I have been a part of Pelor. A part of him still resides within me. The gift of his light is still within me. So, at least in that respect, I have not lost him completely. And Elysium itself still exists and can be saved.
So what do you think the chances are that Palo's actually still alive?
If what they say is true and that he sacrificed himself, it would be the ultimate sacrifice. And there would be no coming back from something like that. Orcus was extremely powerful. It would have taken everything Pelor had to even hold him off long enough to put Elysium into a dimmed state, as they called it. I don't believe he exists anymore.
Well, at least it sounds like he took out Orcus, too. Whoever the hell that is.
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure he did. And I'm just going to keep walking, having said that.
Aww. All right. So let's go back over then now to Marmalek and Galen, who have last time been confronted by the followers of the Raven Queen and have decided that they should probably head over and find Leo and Dorian to figure out what their next move is.
All right, so
go ahead.
I'm assuming we've either finished that bottle or just about finished that bottle.
Probably, yeah.
And I'll turn a slightly drunken eye to Marmalek and go, how about we pocket the rest of this and see if we can't find Dorian and Leo before they get themselves into any trouble.
That sounds good to me. Let's head down towards the docks a little bit more and find them.
I think we're at the docks. I mean, we're in a ship, even if it's upside down, right?
That's pretty. Yeah, we're pretty close. That's good.
All right. Well, let's head out then.
All right.
We'll sort of stagger towards the front door.
Nice. All right. So you guys basically make your way across over to the docks and begin to look for Leo and Dorian.
It's pretty simple. Galen just starts going, Leo! Dorian! Hey guys, where are you at?
So we'll say probably a few minutes after your encounter on the ship with the dwarf and the captain, you guys begin to kind of make your way down the dockside when Leo begins to hear his name bellowed out. And despite all of the ruckus and noise going on around you, you do manage to hear that just over everything.
Is his voice slurred at all?
Oh God, yeah.
It's like, all right, Galen's probably feeling no pain right about now.
Yeah. Perfect. That's all we need.
I'm just gonna stand there and wait for him to find us.
Yep. I'm just gonna stand right in the middle of the dock and just wait.
He probably actually, while calling your name, walks right by you.
All right, if that starts to happen, I actually will call out to him.
Okay.
I think that definitely happens.
Yeah, like mere feet away from you. It's not like he's like a handful of yards away. Like he passes right in front of you, and just like while he lets out a Leo right in front of your face.
I'm gonna clap my hand over his mouth when that happens. Like,
And he
Would
starts
you
to flail a little bit.
shut up.
Oh, hey, Leo, we were looking for you. You
Yeah,
have
I
Dorian
noticed.
here too?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the whole dock knew that you were looking for me.
Well, then they helped me try to find you, right? I mean, makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, Leo. It makes sense.
I'm guessing you guys had fun in the tavern.
Not really.
Oh, we did, but these guys came in and they were kind of assholes, but they work for the Raven Queen, and they told us that we could come and stay with them. But you know what? I don't think Dorian can stay because he doesn't have the mark. Marm, tell him about the mark.
What?
You know the mark from the stones that we had, but we didn't. The all have them, did we?
The Redstones?
The Blackstones?
The ones from the grave, the Queen.
Yeah, we all had one.
No, not the stones. The thing
mark?
she put the mark with the raven on it, whatever. But Dorian didn't do it.
Yeah, that. Dorian, you didn't do it, did you?
No, I spoke with the Raven Queen, and no mark was imparted on me.
I don't know if you can stay.
Yeah, you might not be able to stay.
That's fine. We're not planning on staying anyway.
Yeah, but me and Galen and Leo, we can all get room and board, and they'll probably pay for our drinks and books and stuff.
Well,
Yeah, I'm all set with drinks.
As soon as we find a boat leaving here and heading for our destination, we're leaving.
So back to the material plane?
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
We're actually not going to be going there because there is a barrier that not even the boats can get past. So
What?
instead, we'll be heading to the Halls of Celestia.
Where the hell is that?
It's the Halls of Celestia. Honestly, I don't know beyond that. That's just the name of the place we have to go.
I think maybe she snookered us. Didn't she tell us that we could go home? And then she sent us here and didn't tell us because the guy said that there was something going on and we were supposed to tell him, but nobody told us.
Well, unfortunately, it appears that the Raven Queen has little knowledge of things beyond her judging of the dead.
She never said that we would definitely be able to find passage to the material plane here. She just said that we could find passage off of this plane and possibly to the material plane. She was not sure.
So we have a new lead at least, and it's within our best interest to follow it.
Jesse, Marm would know stuff about planar travel, correct? Because of the book he read and all of his other knowledge.
Is he gone?
No, he says he's back.
No, I'm muted.
Okay.
Quite possibly.
Or-
What are you looking for?
If there would be any other way around, possibly through people that Marm might know as well.
What do you mean around?
The perceived block between getting from our current plane back to the material plane. Possibly calling in a favor or something.
That's a mighty large leap.
Yeah, that it is.
Yeah.
No, I mean, plane travels.
You know what?
Is-
Give me a planar knowledge check. And if you are good enough, I will give you a tidbit of info. How's that? Let's play it that way.
Okay. Will a 29 do anything?
Jesus.
Nope.
Rolled a 14.
I guess it could.
Boost is so pained right now.
I am.
The DC was 30, so close.
Actually, it was, but it was close enough. So let's do this. We will say that you're thinking of possible ways of planar travel at this point. You kind of put all your buns in the single basket of, all right, well, we make it to Gloomron, they take us to the material plane. So you really hadn't given it much thought, right? But now that Dorian comes back and he's like, well, the captain of the ship said that we can't travel to the material plane from, via ship. And so you start kind of racking your head a little bit. And the one thing that kind of pushes out in your head slightly, now that you start to kind of think a little bit, is that the only way you know of in terms of interplanar travel that you have read about is what they call the City of Doors. This is a dimension that people use occasionally to travel between. So it's kind of a go-between between dimensions.
Okay. Can he remember anything that would give him a direction to go for that? Is it something that is commonly known about, or is it?
Oh God, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The City of Doors. It is. It's not. The City of Doors is kind of the nickname for this plane. It's more common. Common nomenclature is sigil.
Okay. Well then, Marm's gonna say to Leo and Agnum. So you guys were down at the docks, and they just said that we can't get there. We can't get back to the material plane.
Correct. According to the captain, there's a barrier that's been there for, he said, I believe, almost 1,000 years, as far as he is able to recall, and that no one is able to travel there.
Interesting. Okay. Well, there's. I remember another way of moving about that wouldn't make us travel to that many more planes. Have you ever heard of of Sigil or the City of Doors?
I have not.
Okay. Well, it's a plane of travel, so to speak, where people can get between two different planes without a back passage, so to speak. So it could possibly help us a little bit more, and we wouldn't have to go through all of these other places. We could just get back to the material plane and get back to what we were doing.
Are you sure this place exists?
It's pretty commonly known about.
Then how would we get there?
That I'm not too positive. But I can look into it a little bit more. Maybe if we take a little bit of time and go to the Raven Queen's temple here and spend a little bit of time researching, we could be able to figure it out.
I'm gonna stop you really quick.
Okay.
Remember the library?
Yep. And the book
Remember-
that I have on planar travel that
Yeah.
I've been reading.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what are the 3 places that I told you it had?
Sigil, Vol Morana, and Pluton.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
He wants to go to the to see what else is available at the Raven Queen's place, if
Okay.
possible. If not, you know what? He will at least enlighten them, and he's going to hold up the book and go, "What we are looking for could kind of be right in here." So we can either we don't really have any money, but if we can find a place to stay, I can finish reading up. I've been reading up on a lot of the different planar travel that we could potentially do.
Well, how How long do you think it would take you to research it?
No more than a week. I've been reading the whole time.
Then I would prefer it if you did it on the boat that will be taking us to the halls of Celestia once we find one.
I'm all set with going to Celestia. I don't like boats.
You've never been on a boat?
Yes, I have with you.
Wait, you mean that would-be raft?
No, the other one.
I'm gonna lean over to Galen, even though he's drunk.
Swaying slightly, kind of trying to follow the conversation.
Did something happen when I was Agnem that I don't remember?
We were on a boat. You don't remember? We went to the town and there was nobody there, and then we wanted to go down the river, and then Marm said he didn't want to go on the boat, but then we found another boat, but it had like a house on it, and we went in, and then he said something about maybe jumping out. I don't remember, but we were on a boat.
You don't remember we were... Okay. All right. Why don't you like boats, Marm?
They're unsure. They're unsafe.
He starts elbowing Dorian. I don't think he can swim.
Well, I don't think there's any water out there. We're traveling through, the space between planes. You don't have to worry about swimming out there.
That's even less comforting. Just give me a day or two, and I'll see what I need for this. Would rather be in a city when if I need any supplies for the rituals.
And with that, I'm just gonna sigh. All right, 2 days, but in the meantime, I'm going to look for a ship that can travel at that time, and once that time comes, either I'm dragging you on there or I'm leaving you behind.
Oh, you don't have to touch me. You can leave me behind.
All right, if that's what you want. And with that, I'm going to go back to looking for a boat.
All right. So what is Marmalek going to be doing right now?
Finding a quiet place to continue researching and figuring out what he would need to travel to Sigil.
All right. So what are you going to call a quiet place? Not many of those around here.
The tavern with
tavern. That's good. Like a corner of the tavern.
Exactly. I figure Dorian or Galen would be more than happy to accompany me.
It might not be all that quiet if you're going to take him with you.
Oh, he can ignore most things. That's the best part about it.
He traveled with Galen long enough. He can learn how to block out stuff.
So yeah, he'll go and he'll sit and fully research Sigil and how to get there.
Very nice. All right, and I'm guessing that Galen is probably gonna go back over and ask to practice the fiddle a little more.
I guess if Marm doesn't ask him if he wants to come back with him, yeah, he might wander back out to the bar.
There you go.
It seems people are kind of breaking up, and Marm's like, I'm going to read, which that sounds boring, especially when you're drunk. And, Dorian's being Dorian. So he looks at Leo and shrugs. It's like, I'll be in the bar.
Leo just kind of looks down at me and like, yeah, shocker.
You want to come?
Nope, not even remotely.
You might want to keep an eye on Dorian, and he could get into trouble.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on Dorian.
Okie dokie.
You go keep an eye on the bar.
I got it.
And I'm going to turn to Dorian and I'm going to be like, why don't we just look for a ship that's going to Sigil?
Just Sigil?
Yeah. Why go to the halls of Celestia if we can just find a ship to take us to Sigil and we can take a portal to the material plane?
Because, first of all, we're basing this off of a hunch that Marm has. We don't know if this place he's talking about even exists. I would much rather at least start making our way to some place where we can actually receive help than to waste more time looking around for something that we have no positive proof about.
Well, we don't definitely know that Mordin's going to be on the Halls of Celestial anyway.
We just asked, and travelers, merchants that trade through the different realms.
And he said that he was kind of certain that Mordin was there.
Well,
But-
that's more to go on than just a thought about something he might have read.
Alright, fine. Let's see if we can find a boat to the Halls of Celestial then.
That's the
And
plan.
hopefully, and hopefully they don't get too drunk that we end up having to get into a fight.
Well, at this point, if they get into a fight, it's their own fault. I'm going to start walking again.
And I'm just going to kind of like shake my head and follow after him. Looking
Alright.
for a boat to the Halls of Celestial.
Indeed. Alright, so, you guys kind of wander about asking various ships, where they're going and how are they getting there and all that kind of stuff. And basically, as you're wandering around, you kind of get the sense that there's not a lot of people that make direct trips to Celestia. There are a couple of people that tell you that, oh yeah, I guess I'll be going there, and and a couple of trips, and and things like that. But for the most part, there's you do hear a couple of people that are saying, oh well, yeah, I mean, I'm going up to the green fields first, or yeah, we have to make a trip to the abyss, but then we're gonna go to Celestia. So,
Are there any that claim that on the way to Celestia or wherever is Sigil named at all?
no, nobody actually says that they're. Are you going to actually inquire into it, or are you just going to kind of listen up for it?
No, I'm just going to listen in passing.
All right, yeah. So nobody actually mentions Sigil at all.
Okay.
When they're when Dorian's asking about getting to the Halls of Celestia,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask around, see if they had no Elysium at all.
All right. Go ahead and give me a diplomacy check.
I can do that,
Can you?
maybe. 22.
Not bad. So pretty much everybody that you talk to, they say that in about 2 to 3 weeks they'll be making a trip to Elysium, because that's when a couple of the festivals kick up, and so they have a lot of imported goods from the docks going into Elysium for supplies. So they do have a couple of ships. You have a couple of ships that will be going there in about 2 weeks.
Alright, good to go. I'm gonna turn to Dorian and be like, listen, if we can't get to the Halls of Celestia anytime soon, we could at least go to Elysium, see if your god is actually dead or not, and see if, I don't know, maybe one of your old compatriots can help us.
How long did they say before they were, like, rough estimate, how long it would take them to arrive at the Halls of Celestia?
Probably with all the stops that they had to make, a couple months.
All right. Well, given the choice, then, yeah, the Elysium is the better option. At least then, if nothing pans out, we'll still have enough time to make it back for the trip to the Halls of Celestia.
All right. I'm gonna talk to one of the ships that said they were going to Elysium in a couple of weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and ask if there's any chance he'd take on the two of us and two of our companions to this trip, on this trip to Elysium.
And so he tells you, usually we don't take on passengers, but I'm sure if it's not unheard of. We do have a going rate, though.
All right. What's the going rate?
It's usually about, well, let's see, how many of them are you?
4 total.
4? Let's see, 4.
Well, 3.5. We got a halfling.
Yeah, they tend to be a little bit more of a bother. So let's see, if we factor in all the costs and the added weight and all that, it's probably going to be, let's see, maybe about, I think we could settle on about 2,000 gold.
Wow.
I'm gonna look over at Leo. I don't suppose the Raven Queen gave you or the others any money too, did she?
No.
Ugh.
Alrighty then. Any chance you need deckhands for the voyage? That's a little out of our price range.
Unless you guys actually have any talents at shipping.
Yeah.
Not so much.
Do
I'm gonna pull out one of my silver-tipped arrows,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna hold it up and I'm gonna be like, "You said you're going to Elysium to trade, right?
Aye.
They kind of like shiny things over there, going by what he says. What do you think you'd get for one of these over there?"
Probably about 5 silver. It's an arrow.
I'm gonna kind of like look at Leo. I'm like, it's a realm of light. It's a peaceful place. Silver and arrow are two things you would probably never hear anyone say in the same sentence.
No wonder your god lost the war then. Alright, fine. I'm gonna put the arrow back in the quiver. And I'm gonna turn to Doran. I'm gonna be like, alright, well, I'm gonna turn back to the guy in the ship. I'm gonna be like, alright, we'll see what we can scrounge up in the next couple of weeks before you head out. I'll let you know.
And he kind of just gives you a little nod and a wave and carries on.
I'm turning to Doran and be like, alright, so the hell are we gonna do now?
Well, we could either look for other boats going to Elysium, or we gotta find a way to earn the money.
Well, spend the next short while seeing about a boat to Elysium, or we can head back into the town and see if we can find any odd jobs that need being done.
Well, why don't you go look for the jobs? I'll see if I can find a boat. We may as well split our efforts in the hopes of, covering more ground.
Alright. Say we'll meet back up at the tavern. See if we can find anybody.
All right. Say 2 hours.
Yeah, that'll work.
All right. See you then.
Yep. And I'm actually gonna make a beeline for the tavern after I leave him.
Okay. So what's Dorian doing right now?
Basically going back through anyone that said that they were heading to Elysium, see if they take on passengers. If not, if they do, do they charge anything? Will they take on people who will, perform labor? And on top of it, back what I used to do with Agnum, see if any of them have issues with injuries and stuff like that, and if having a residential healer would be to their benefit, at least on a temporary basis for passage.
All right. So most of them do say that either they're full up and they don't need extra dead weight on their ships, or if you're not, a skilled shipwright or shipman or sailor, whatever the word for it is,
They
that,
want
you
us
know,
to build them a ship.
Right, yeah, exactly. If you don't know your way around the rigging, then you're useless to them. Or they have, a going rate for the bother that you're putting on them. It ranges anywhere from probably about 1,000 gold all the way up to 5,000. Some of them even shoot out at you.
All right, but there was one for 1,000.
Yeah, it was a couple for 1,000.
Okay. Were any of them leaving like around the same time frame as the other one?
Yeah, and any of them are leaving within probably about a week and a half to 3 weeks.
Okay, so that gives us a little bit of time. All right, so with having that knowledge, then I'll head back to the tavern.
All right.
All right. Just to give you a heads up, I headed straight for the tavern because I figured I'd talk to Galen and Marmalek first before heading out, so that they could, maybe try to make some money as well while I was looking.
All right. So let's go ahead and do that then. So you walk into the bar, and like I said, you if you were listening earlier, it's kind of dimly lit, kind of dank, big crowd, tons of different people, and when you walk in, you'll actually see Marmalek kind of off in a corner, with a decent buffer around him of people kind of staying away at a table all by himself. Meanwhile, Galen is actually playing away at the fiddle, standing up on a chair, 1 foot on the chair, 1 foot on the back of the chair, kind of going away at it, accompanied by a very tinny sounding piano.
All right, I'm gonna walk up to Galen first.
He ignores you.
Hey, Galen. And I'm gonna flick him in the knee.
What? Did you see him playing?
Yeah, I get that. We need gold in order to get it on a ship. So see if you can make some money doing that. And don't drink it all away.
Oh, well, put your hat down then.
I'm gonna feel on the top of my head, and then look at him, because I'm totally not wearing a hat.
Did you lose your hat? Well, get that guy over there, grab his hat, and put it down.
All right, yeah, just see if you can make some money. Don't get too drunk, and I'm just gonna walk away from him.
And he puts his head back down and starts playing again. He plays louder.
And I'm just gonna kind of nod my head, all right, there we go. That should make us some money. And then walk over to Marmalek. Did you find anything?
I've been reading since I got here. I have a little bit, but Jesse, what did I find out?
Well, what are you planning on finding out?
What I need to actually accomplish the planar travel.
Ah, okay. Let's see, where did that go? Let's see. So, you've read a couple of things, and you're not attempting to. You're basically only trying to travel from your current location into another plane. So basically, all that requires is opening a gate from one place to the next. So as long as you are proper in the ceremony and your sigils and symbols are proper and exact, there's no other materials or anything needed. As long as what you copy down on the area that you're planning to open the gate is exact as to what is in the book, you're good to go.
Okay. I'm going to look at Leo and kind of point to the page that I'm on, which has a good number of the symbols. And he'll be like, well, I don't really need too much. I just need to be able to concentrate when I'm recreating these on where we're going to be traveling from. It's a pretty good process. It's not going to cost anything that I can tell, so I think it might be better than traveling by boat. I know that my father charge it. I mean, I know that they charge a bit when they travel by plane. So yeah. So we can try it in the not too distant future if you want.
All right, yeah, that's good. All right, so yeah, so whatever. So we found a ship to get us to Elysium.
Yeah, I'm not going.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. But we are, so we need gold. So we need like 2,000 gold. So if there's anything in that book about making money,
Why do you have to go to Elysium? Why don't you want to just get back to the material plane like we planned?
because we were trying to get off the material plane,
When?
weren't we? Something? I don't know.
As far as I know, I was looking for a library that was supposed to be hidden somewhere in the material plane.
Well, we're trying to fix the material plane. I figure you can do it better from on this side.
I wouldn't say that. I mean,
I don't know. I'm just along for the ride. So, you keep reading then. Where was that? Did you say say something earlier about a Raven Queen temple that some guy invited you back to?
yeah, they said that we'd be able to get in just by showing our symbols, the marks. It was if you go out and you go that way, it should be over there.
All right. Good to go. I'm gonna go check out there, and then Dorian's gonna be coming back here.
Is he also set on not going back to the material plane?
Yeah, he wants to go to Elysium because his god died, and he wants to check on it.
So the god's dead, but he still needs to go back.
Listen, I don't even pretend to know what the hell is going on in his head.
It's like saying you burnt your bread, but you need to go make sure it's burnt. That doesn't.
No, toast does taste good, but no, like, listen, he wants to go to Elysium to check on his people or whatever. He's kind of in a state of shock. He just found out his god died, which we found out happened like a hell of a long time ago. So I don't know how long we were stuck in the ice, but whatever. Just just talk to him when he gets back, and I'm gonna go see if I can make us some money, or figure something out. You just keep reading and just keep an eye out for Dorian. Make sure Galen doesn't get too drunk.
Too late.
Yeah, no shit. All right, I'll see you in a couple hours.
All right, I'll be here practicing.
All right, good to go. And I'm gonna head out and follow his directions to the Raven Queen temple thing.
That he has no idea where it actually is. All right.
Just real quick, as Leo heads towards the door, Galen has a quick change and starts playing like a dirge as he walks out and the door closes.
I just kind of shoot him a dirty look as I'm walking out.
All right. So we'll say that Leo wanders off in search of the Raven Queen temple, and
I'm honestly just gonna ask, like, pretty much, Mom like had no idea what the hell it was, so I'm just gonna ask like the first person I come to, be like, excuse me, can you point me in the direction of the Raven Queen temple?
Right. And you get a couple of people that begin to point you in various directions. They all kind of seem to be pointing in the same general northwesty area. So go ahead and give me a let's say survival. That'll figure for direction at least.
That works. 26.
All right, so you're able to kind of keep this, even though the streets in alleys keep kind of turning, and even as you walk, you can tell that the way that you're walking now isn't the same way that you came before. Like, you're like, I could have sworn that I took a right coming down this, but now it only allows me to go straight, and I thought that this was a three-way intersection, but now it's only a left turn, and so everything seems different for some reason. But you're able to kind of keep your general bearings on you at least, so you're going to be able to head in the right direction. So let's go ahead and in a handful of moments later, now that Dorian has kind of done his gathering and talking to various people on the docks, makes his way back into the tavern to meet up with the other three, though now two.
All right, so I see the two of them there.
Indeed. Well, you see the two of them. They're not in the same space, but they're both in the tavern. Very distinguishable.
All right, well, Galen is playing music, so I'll walk over to Marmalek then. So I found a boat that will grant us passage, but they're asking for 1,000 gold, and we have about a week and a half to 3 weeks. There are several boats, so there's plenty of opportunity to get the money in time.
Why pay money? Why not just travel directly from plane to plane?
Every boat captain I've spoken to has requested money.
Okay, well, we could just not use a boat.
Okay, and what are you suggesting?
The reason I've been reading this book is because it is all about how to travel from plane to plane via ritual, as opposed to ship or anything like that. So we could travel directly to Sigil and make our way back that way.
Well, no one that I spoke to mentioned this place, Sigil. Are you sure it even exists?
I am as sure as you are sure that these boats will take us where you say they're going to go, and we'll be able to get back that way, if not more. So, just because you've been to Elysium, or you claim you've been to Elysium, and your god, who has been dead for hundreds of years at this point, apparently, how about you have a little bit more faith in me? I mean, I only killed us once, and we should just really give this book a chance.
If that book has this ritual you're speaking of, and you're positive you can pull it off and get us to the material plane, all right, then I'll back you up on the plan.
All right, then. You should find Leo, because he wandered off to go find the temple of the Raven Queen.
It's fine. Let him worship his goddess while she still lives as well.
Yeah, but she's not the best. Whatever. All right.
Hmm?
And he's just going to go back to drawing the basic symbols on the table and with his finger, practicing.
Nice. I'm guessing you probably have like the residue of the alcohol that you're kind of dipping your finger in and practicing drawing figures out.
That and a pretty substantial pile of salt that he's using to just brush aside every once in a while.
I like it. All right. So let's see, what exactly is Leo looking to do? We'll say that it does take you a fair amount of time to get to the temple, but when you do, it is very obvious where you are. This is a very large cathedral-like building that is given space within the city. There's no buildings built near it for probably a good 50 to 60 feet, giving it a fairly wide berth. And you do see members of the Raven Queen coming in and out of it somewhat frequently. And now Raven Queen disciples are very recognizable They, as well as usually being clad in all black or predominantly black and having the symbol of the Raven Queen on them. The majority of them are hooded, have some type of bird-like feature on their clothes, whether it be a feather design on their cloak or some type of headwear that resembles feathers or a raven's beak or something to that effect. So they are all very able to be picked out of a crowd. So what exactly is Leo's intentions once he figures out where he is?
Alright, I'm pretty much just gonna walk up to the front door.
Mm-hmm.
And are there any, like, guards, like, right by the front door?
Nope.
No. Alright, I'm just gonna walk in then.
Mm-hmm.
And see if I can just find, just somebody that kind of works there, worships there.
All right.
Someone that, obviously knows what they're doing.
Yeah, once you go in, you do see that it is a very wide open area, and you see that there are tapestries and murals and everything that surround the walls, basically telling the story of the Raven Queen. You see great battles. You see the love that she gives to the spirits and her fight of the undead and all this kind of stuff. And up at the front of the cathedral area is this very large statue of the Raven Queen, giving her it's carved out of stone and silver. And it shows her in this very kind of flowing form, surrounded by these ravens that kind of, almost seem to emanate from her and are kind of caught up in a breeze slightly. And there are several worshippers of hers surrounding this altar, just kind of giving silent praise to her.
Alright, are there any that look more important than the others? Fancier robe, stripes, anything?
Oh, yeah, I mean, you see that there are some people that are just in, like, basic black robes, while others are very fancifully decked out. Some with collars of feathers and these giant cloaks So they run the gamut from very plain to very extravagant.
All right, I'm gonna go up to one of the ones that's kind of mid-high extravagance.
Okay.
Not like the most important guy, but kind of
got more than a robe, but it's not too fancy.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'm just male or female?
Female.
Walk up to her. Excuse me, ma'am.
And she kind of grasps her hands and gives you a bow and says, "Yes, brother, what can I help you with?"
Yes, ma'am. I've actually just come from the Raven Queen. She sent me here. Unfortunately, she sent me here to find passage on one of the ships. And unfortunately, being dead, I do not have any money on me at all. I was wondering if there was any chance you would know of any place where I could make some money.
Well, for those that actually make their living within Gloomrot, there is plenty of opportunity. However, if you were looking within the temple, then I fear that you have come to a wrong turn. Maybe it was something that you missed within your teachings, but we do not necessarily praise wealth.
Quite honestly, I recently died, and upon waking again, myself and my companions found ourselves on this plane, and we were told that we were an impossibility because nobody can come from the material plane and hasn't been able to come from the material plane in hundreds of years, and yet here we are. I had never been a follower of the Raven Queen until I arrived here. I haven't really gotten much training, so it wasn't that I missed that in the training. I haven't had any of the training, but I figured if there was anybody in this town that I could trust to point me in the right direction, they would be here, and that is why I asked you that question.
Ah, so you were one of her sworn then. I see.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Luckily, if you wish to travel outside of the Shadowfell, then you are in the right place. Gloomrot is the main place of departure, so to speak. I do not mean to, mix words when it comes to that of comings and goings from the Shadowfell. But yes, if you wish to travel to another place within the realms, then Gloomrot is where you need to be. Perhaps you should check out the docks. That is where most travel comes and goes. Perhaps you could gain passage on a ship.
I actually just came from there. I was told that it would be 2,000 gold for myself and my 3 companions to find passage on a ship.
Yes, unfortunately, the sailors within this area do push rather hard bargains.
Yes,
but for interplanar travel throughout the Astral Sea, that is not an outrageous cost.
Yes, well, unfortunately, upon waking in this land, I had literally nothing. The Raven Queen was kind enough to provide myself and my companions weapons and armor and clothing. But as far as gold is concerned, as you said, the Raven Queen and her followers do not really care for gold that much.
Yes, she often does outfit her Sorrowsworn with what they need to defend both themselves and the teachings and beliefs of the Raven Queen. However, as you said, they do not put much honor or onus on wealth. So it is of no use to us, particularly.
So I am learning. Unfortunately, at the moment, it is of very great use to me. I am kind of on a mission for the Raven Queen, but I am kind of in a hiccup at the moment because I do need a lot of gold and not a lot of time. I didn't know if you would know of any place where I could speak to somebody in regards to getting that.
Well, in terms of handing out gold such as that, or any value, that is not something that we keep here. We do not have need for wealth. Everything that we need is provided by the Raven Queen and by our position within the city. We do not really want for anything, so we do not have need for such things. It is unfortunate that you found yourself in such a position, but I suggest if income is what you need, then you search the areas within Gloomrot, and perhaps somebody will be generous enough to give you payment for any particular skills that you might have.
That is actually exactly what I'm looking for. If I may, because I have nothing, is there any chance that you may have a bed that myself and my companions could stay in?
Of course, being brethren of the Raven Queen, we do provide plenty of area for rest and relaxation and recuperation for our fellow.
I must warn you, one of my companions does follow a different god. I've been told he is an ally of the Raven Queen. He follows Paylor. Will that be an issue? Will he still be able to sleep here?
That will have to be taken up with the headmasters of the temple, but I'm sure if he is with the three of you, that they might look to provide some leniency. However, I cannot speak with them. I suggest you bring your friend here and have him speak with the headmasters and see what their decision is.
I shall do that. I thank you very much, my sister.
Yes. May the queen be with you.
You as well. I'm going to turn and I'm going to walk away.
All right.
And I'm actually going to head back to the tavern at this point because I figure it took me a while to find this frickin' place.
Indeed. So probably after a couple of hours, probably a little bit more, Leo finally makes his way back to the tavern. Weirdly enough, you actually end up coming up from the west rather than the east, like you did before. Somehow that happened, but regardless, you end up being able to make your way back to the tavern.
Alrighty then. As soon as I walk in, I'm gonna look for Dorian, see if he's back yet.
Yeah. Right now, you probably have Dorian and Marmalek sitting at a table, and Galen's still playing away. Though right now, probably playing something a little bit more on the softer side, maybe a ballad of sorts.
Yeah, he's winding down at this point. He's tired. He's drunk.
He's probably crying along with the music right now.
That could be.
Yeah.
Alright. I'm gonna kind of glance over at the table in front of him.
Hmm.
Is there any money sitting there?
Yeah, there's a couple of coins.
I'm just gonna shrug, kind of like shake my head and walk over to Marmalek and Dorian and sit down. Any luck?
A fair amount, actually. First of all, I found several other boats that will only charge 1,000 gold as opposed to the 2,000 we parted ways on. But more to the point than that, Marmalek believes that he can perform a ritual that he's been reading about that will actually take us to this place he's been talking about.
Okay.
And if that is the case, we wouldn't need to worry about money or boats or anything like that. If this place actually exists, we would be able to utilize it at our discretion.
That'll actually work out pretty well because I haven't been able to make anything so far. Marmalek, what's going on?
Oh, okay. Look, if I draw the straight line through, once I've done the spiral on this one and then give it a flick here, then it actually comes out exactly like it in the book. So I think I'm pretty much set with the runes and sigils. I think I have it down pretty much at this point. It's just a matter of doing it on a larger scale. So I think we can do it whenever you want.
How about now?
We can try. Yeah, that's fine with me.
All right. How much room do you need?
I need a place that's big enough to do all of these, and have enough room for us. Jesse, based on the book, does it say we have to be inside of the symbols or outside of it, or what?
No, just where the symbols are is where the gate will open. So
Okay.
you're guessing that you probably need about 15 to 20 feet worth of space to be able to properly draw the required symbols.
Okay. So Leo, it looks like we need a decent amount of space. So if we could find somewhere out of the way here that has an area that I could effectively draw these in the dirt, we should be able to get through into the Sigil. But it's just a matter of when and where at this point, because I'm good to go.
All right. Well, why don't we just head outside the city then, and we'll go back into the wilderness, and you'll have plenty of space.
All right, yeah, let's give it a try.
And that way we don't have people nosing around as well.
Yeah, like that uppity dwarf. Yeah, let's get out of here then.
All right, that'll work.
All right, so you guys go to make your way outside the city then?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes.
So you guys you wander around the city, and you end up wandering through kind of a trade district. So you see a lot of craftsmen and things like that. A lot of smells of burning wood and burning metal and sulfur and such. But eventually you do make your way out of the city, though not without several disgusted looks from guardsmen as you pass by. But like I said, eventually you do make your way out to the outskirts of the city.
That'll work.
All right, well then, I just need an area large enough that I can draw it all without having to squish anything. I want to make sure that everything is perfect and large enough that it'd be a respectable area. So maybe about 20 feet, 25 feet of clear area we just need to find, and I can start.
So, assuming they grabbed me after my set, I can play the
most likely.
whole way out. Man, I'm tired now. I just want to lay down. Where are we going? Then when they find the spot and Marm starts kind of clearing stuff out, Galen just kind of lays down like right towards the middle, right, because it's a nice open spot. So he just kind of like lays down and immediately falls asleep.
Fair enough. Does
Yeah.
not bug him.
Leo just kind of looks at him in disgust.
All right, Leo, can you hold this book so I can reference it while I'm doing this? We'll get this done faster that way.
Yep.
All right. So he takes his bow and staff and starts, looking at the symbols and starts digging them into the ground, and just works at it as precisely as he can.
All right. Go ahead and give me an intelligence check.
Just a straight int check?
Yeah.
Okay. That is 22.
Holy crap. Very nice. So it takes you probably a few minutes to get everything down, and you get the outer basic planar travel circle done first, and then the next proper step is to put the symbol of the plane into the middle and kind of fit that in. And you've worked in exactly where the line connections need to be and the orientation of it and everything like that. And after about 5 minutes or so, you finally have everything carved through, and you make that one final connection and kind of the top loop of the symbol for sigil. And finally, once you make that connection and you lift the staff up, the entire thing starts to kind of give a dull glow. And as that begins to happen now, you see in the middle of the circle now, kind of floating there, is this small, very opaque, but very visible circle that starts out kind of, almost the size of like a small handheld mirror, but then begins to expand out, and the kind of shimmeriness of it around the outside, you see your reflection within it, but you can also see on the other side is a completely different background. So you're seeing yourselves reflected in this surface, but instead of seeing the backdrop of those demonic skin walls of Gloomrot, you're seeing a very hustle and bustle town on the other side.
Well, Leo, it appears to have worked, at least to bring us somewhere that looks interesting. You ready to go?
Yeah. Are you sure that's sigil?
Well, I can't say I'm absolutely sure. I've never been there, but this book was crafted very well, and it took what appears to be a long time to make. And I don't think someone would make such an elaborate hoax that would actually take you somewhere different. It could be, but I highly doubt it.
All right, well, let's try it then. Everybody else ready?
Ready.
Shake Galen. Wake up.
What? What?
Get ready to go. We're jumping through the mirror portal.
What? Through the mirror?
We're going to Sigil.
Well, where is that? That's not where we're from, is it?
No, but we'll be able to get to where we're from there, hopefully.
I guess it's better than here.
All right. Let's go. And Marm just walks directly at it.
Okay. And you burn to death. No, I'm joking.
You freeze to death.
All right. All right. So I'm guessing the rest of you are going to follow suit then?
Yep.
All right. So with each of you that walks through, there's a slight shimmer in the surface, almost as if, kind of breaking a very viscous liquid. And you now disappear through the reflective surface, and no more seeing your reflection, but each one of you that walks through now appears on the other side of this glass, so to speak. And as the last of you steps through, it hangs there for a brief moment, and then the portal closes, and the entire glow of the symbols and everything disappears, and the whole thing just kind of fills itself in almost within the ground. And we'll go ahead and end it there then.
Nice.
I think it's hilarious that we spent like almost the entire freaking session trying to find a freaking boat and then money to pay for said boat, and we didn't even use a boat.
Do you know how many times I've been punching myself in the face as you guys have been wandering around with this book?
Well, when you mentioned the port, I initially expected to be able to go there and get a ferry somewhere, anywhere,
Yeah.
and then 1,000 gold. I was like, okay, well, I guess that's not happening. But
You know what I thought was going to be hilarious is if you guys actually sold the book to get the money
Oh,
to take the
Jesus.
boat. That would have been hilarious.
I don't think Marm would have allowed that.
That's a good point. Well, you also have that solid gold jewel encrusted scroll case.
Yeah.
Money is of no importance for the moment. You guys don't need that 1,000 gold right now.
Well, so how much gold did we collect for my playing?
Let's say you got 6 gold
All right,
in total through all the coins.
because that will be important for me to buy a new bottle when we get where we're going.
Nice.
Not bad, guys.
Indeed.
Yar.
You've made it from the Raven Queen's temple to Gloomrot, and now possibly to Sigil, but really, who knows?
Right.
Interesting.
we are somewhere.
Yep.
Hopefully it's someplace that sells arrows.
Why, are you running out?
I only have 14 left.
Only 14.
I can craft for you. I have craft weapons.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I have craft arrow. I just so I
Go
could
ahead.
make them. I just don't feel like it.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I assume that you did that. That's kind of why I took craft weapon.
Man, you could have made some arrows out of that nearly dead wood. That would be kind of cool.
What nearly dead wood?
All the trees and stuff that were spread out around Svomarana.
Oh yeah.
Or out of the ants. You could make ant arrows.
Ooh.
Ooh,
I bet those would be kind of weird.
living wood arrows.
Oh, creepy.
That'd be
Too
kind
late
of
now.
fun.
Right. Well, no, because the book does have a portal to Svomarana, so you could go back there, make the travel all the way back down to the swamp. Doable.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. But yeah, good job, guys. You finally made it out of the Shadowfell
Yay.
Yay.
into somewhere else. Alright. Well, I'm going to duck out because I woke up extremely early this morning for no reason at all.
Nice.
That's the
Yeah.
worst.
Yeah. I woke up.
because my cat's a dick.
That is true. I woke up 2 hours before I actually had to be at work.
Oh, super fun.
Yeah.
No bueno.
No, whatever language that was.
Spanish. Bueno. No good.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're from near Mexico. That makes sense.
Yeah. We're from Little Mexico.
Right. I saw the picture of the scorpion that you posted. That was pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the third one in the last couple of weeks. I need to spray, but we're just coming out of monsoons, and the bug stuff is water soluble, so there's no point in doing it.
Right. Nice.
So,
Oh.
we had a baby rattlesnake out front
Nice.
earlier in the year. So it's been interesting.
Right. Jesus.
We had a snake at work today, a baby one.
Oh, nice.
It was sitting in the track of the door, so like there's a sweep on the bottom of the door,
Yeah.
but the door doesn't close all the way, so it was kind of like laying in the track.
Oh, Jesus.
We picked him up and took him back outside.
Nice.
He was cute. I wanted to bring him home. He was, he was like pencil thin, maybe about a foot long.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wouldn't go over too well.
Only thing I have to deal with is gophers. That's about it.
Hmm.
No poisonous animals around here.
That makes things interesting. I still go
Right.
outside with no shoes on, so
Well, hey, you have to build up an immunity somehow, right?
yeah.
Oh,
Well, apparently the big ones won't kill you. I guess the really small ones kind of suck, but
really?
yeah.
Concentrated.
I imagine it hurts. I mean, I guess it's like 10 times worse than getting a bee sting, but
Oof.
Yeah,
Well
isn't and scorpions like they're the reverse of what you'd actually think? The smaller it is, the worse it is, or some
yeah,
shit.
that's my understanding, yeah.
Oh.
Now, I don't know if that's for ones that are born small and stay small, or for the bigger ones, when they're small, they're worse. You know, kind of like a snake, it doesn't know how to control its venom.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the principle behind it or what, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The same way I'm preparing for the earthquake that's eventually going to destroy California. I am preventing getting stung by a scorpion by not living in places that have scorpions.
That'll probably work.
Until global warming fully kicks in and everything is an arid climate.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Although then Massachusetts probably won't exist, so we'll be all set.
Yay.
Yay. Alright, on that gloomy note. You guys have a good night.
Yep, you too.
Stop.